Welcome to episode 25 of Book Read. Super excited about today's show because I'm going to the United States of America to meet Jaden show guest, Dr. Jeff Young, Rocky Mountain vet, to talk about his book, which is out at the moment, called Beyond the Boundaries. It's actually written with Melinda Grohol, but it's all about Dr. Jeff, all behind the scenes of his life, his struggles, his celebrations, and how he's become the man he is today. You're going to love it. In fact, I don't want to keep talking. Let's go and meet today's featured author. Dr. Jeff, the Rocky Mountain vet, welcome to Book Read. Well, I've seen you on the Jaden show, and I'm super stoked that you've got a book out, and you've come to talk to me about it. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day here in Colorado, and we're still going strong.
You're looking well, mate. You're looking absolutely well. So we kind of, when we chat, I think it was like a couple of years ago now, when we talked on the Jaden show, which is actually the highest viewing show on my channel, by the way. So obviously you've got loads and loads of fans out there, but you know that already. We didn't even have a hint that you might write a book then. So tell us about how you became an international author.
Well, first, Melinda Grohol is technically the author, so we did a lot of interviews. She came out to Colorado. She called me up one day and said, would you be interested in doing a book with me? And so, I said, well, might as well. Why not? And I talked to Dr. Petra, my wife, and she's like, well, not very many people have a book, so you got to just do it just to say you did it. And, but I just kind of bumble through things in all honesty. It's just good luck, bad luck kind of thing. I mean, the whole reason we got on TV was just kind of a weird set of coincidences. So, opportunities arise. You try to take advantage of them, I guess, is the point.
Absolutely. Was it difficult? Were there parts in there you didn't want to relive? Is it literally just about your work? Tell us a little bit about the book itself.
It does go over, it's not a real deep in-depth type book, but it's lighthearted in a lot of ways. It made me smile in a lot of ways, but it did kind of go through my transformation. I mean, I went into vet school, hardcore hunter, trapper, I was pretty much a barbarian, still am to some people, I guess. But when I came out of vet school and working animal control, it just changed my view of animals dramatically, and I think my whole approach to life and to dealing with people and pets just changed dramatically and it has made me, I think, a better person.
Did you go to vet school quite late?
Yeah, I was 33 when I graduated vet school.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit older. Honestly, I love playing rugby and I love going to school. I think I had 3 degrees before I got in vet school, and most of that time I spent as much time on the rugby field as I did in class.
Wow. Can I ask you, what was it about? Obviously you said, you're like hunter-gatherer kind of type of guy. When did your opinion of animals and everything change? Was it while you were hunting, or what was the kind of the revelation?
Yeah. I mean, it's so weird when you're brought up in a hunting family and environment, you're praised for killing things and it becomes very testosterone driven. But even when I was younger, I never, you act it out, but I never got the real inner joy that I think other people did. And I did hunt, for food. I didn't waste. I never really trophy hunted, things like that. But somewhere along the line, I was always taught animals don't feel pain the way we do. And they don't in one sense, they're tougher about it. But, in vet school, they teach you that animals have all the same neuroreceptors as we have, all of them. Everything's exactly the same. So, if you're in the wild, it doesn't do you any good to show pain or discomfort, because if you do, you're the one that's going to be eaten or killed, So they do a better job of masking it. But then I always relate to, okay, well, you take a pro football player that that just broke his toe. Is he going to keep playing football versus the average person that break their toe and they're on crutches for 6 weeks, that kind of thing. So, even humans have dramatic differences in what they want to feel or not feel. And we have a great capacity to go through a lot if we choose to. But, it's, I don't know. It just made me open my eyes in ways that weren't open before.
And was this? I mean, did you start to become a vet because you started viewing animals differently, or did you start to view animals differently because you started becoming the vet?
No, I think in class, then the lectures, it started making me think about things, and I met, like vegetarians for the first time and things like
Right.
that. I had a girlfriend in vet school who was a hardcore vegan, and
Right.
one, Thanksgiving, a tofu turkey, and I'm scratching my head like, what the hell? What the hell's a tofu turkey? Uh, but I also had high blood pressure when I was 22 years old. My idea of a vegetable would have been a tomato on a triple hamburger,
Nice.
and I just don't eat like that anymore. I do eat some shrimp from time to time. Occasionally, I'll get a free range chicken, but for the most part, Dr. Petcher and I eat pretty strict vegetarian type diet.
Wow, that's amazing. Obviously, it is known that you've been going through several kind of health traumas over the years. You still look bloody amazing. The book itself, Beyond the Boundaries, is it about your work in the becoming of Dr. Jeff, Rocky Mountain Vet, or does it cover more personal issues like your health and the things that you've actually had to deal with as well through this time?
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I like about it, because the TV show puts you in one dimension only. People come up to me and say, "Oh, I feel like I know you," and my first thoughts are like, "I don't know you from Adam,"
Yeah.
and
you probably don't at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And people don't quite understand that from my perspective. When you're looking out versus looking in, and the TV show really tried to keep us very one dimensional. I got some of the running stuff in some of my kids. I coached for 29 years, and quite frankly, I feel like I'm a better distance coach than I'm veterinarian in many ways. So and those kids made a real difference in my life too. Giving back to the community, and we had one of the highest teen pregnancy rate. We had a 33% graduation rate at the school I started coaching in, and my personal graduation rate for the kids that I coached was 98, 99%.
Wow, respect.
Over 29 years. So you can make a real difference. And so this book covers some of that, and I think that's the thing. It shows a little bit more, and it definitely goes into the TV show and some of the production issues, and different stories from it. So it does cover a kind of wide range, a little more broader perspective. I mean, humans are not one dimensional. That's the bottom line.
No. So it does, yeah. So it covers a little bit about you, your trials, your tribulations, your fun, your becoming, and everything. That's amazing. Is it out at the moment?
Yeah. It's on. You can get it on BarnesandNoble.com or on Amazon.
Okay. And I've heard that if people are kind of just happen to be wandering past Colorado, whereabouts in Colorado are you again?
Yeah, we're up in Conifer, Colorado. We were down in Wheat Ridge, which is basically Denver Metro. We moved up. It's about a 30-minute drive from Denver Metro. But it's just beautiful up here. I'm sitting looking out a window right now at pine trees.
Wow.
I've lived above a clinic for 30-some years. I have a house for the first time that Dr. Petcher and I are living in. It's down a dirt road. It's literally 5 minutes away from the clinic, so it's still really close, but it's like a different world. As soon as I hit that dirt road, my blood pressure goes down. I'm looking at the deer and the elk and the coyotes and the foxes, and so it's a little different than being across from a Walmart and dealing with drunks and drug addicts all the time.
Completely, mate. Completely.
So I really like being here. Yeah, if you stop in, the books here we sell I sign them all, and we get a lot of people from all over the world that come through here, especially during the summer months.
Well, you are internationally known, mate.
Now, we were just in Switzerland, and I was going on a gondola, and 3 ladies from China, believe it or not, were sitting there Googling, thinking, they were looking at me and pointing at the phone, and I thought, could it possibly? And they didn't speak hardly any English because I don't speak Chinese. And they came up and showed me a picture of me, and I said, yes.
Wow.
And so I ended up taking a selfie with these ladies. I'm thinking about that. I'm in Switzerland dealing with 3 older Chinese ladies, getting ready to go on a gondola, and they want a selfie with me. It's kind of weird.
Amazing. I love that, man. I live in Chiapas now in San Cristobal de las Casas, and I was in the shopping mall, and this guy came up to me and said, like, you're English in Spanish. I went, yeah. He goes, do you have a YouTube channel with artists? I went, yeah. Then he got the same. I was like, I've never been noticed since the 90s ever, and I'm in some random shopping mall, and I've only got like 1,700 followers. I still found that like pretty amazing. So it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. It really, you're touching lives, mate. You're touching lives, and your stories are amazing. Your show is amazing, and it's really exciting for us common folk to be able to get a little bit more of an in-depth view to Dr. Jeff. Would you like to read us a little bit?
Well, I'm a little dyslexic, but I will try to power through it if you want me to.
I would love you to. That would be amazing.
I'm going to read the foreword by Esther Meckler, who is a dear friend of mine and has probably done more for animals than anybody else I know who's not a veterinarian. She writes, "My first image of him was of a long-haired man standing next to an old school bus. It was 1993. Turns out that old school bus was really a mobile spay clinic, and the man, an idealistic, groundbreaking young veterinarian named Jeff Young. We met formally in August of 1993 when Spay USA held its first national conference in Bentley College in Waltham, Massachusetts. Jeff was invited to be a presenter at the conference because he came up with a unique way to bring spay-neuter services to people in need. At that time, people didn't even know the word spay and often used the word spayed and spaded. We appreciate Jeff's creativity in finding a way to deliver services which were not even clear to most people at the time. Jeff saw early on that much animal suffering could be prevented if far fewer litters of dogs and cats were born, and there would not be to that extent of neglect and cruelty, homelessness, and hunger that so many of these animals suffer. The shelters would not be so overcrowded. And back in those days, for the record, we were killing tens of millions of cats and dogs in America. There would be enough good permanent homes for the cats and dogs that were born. Jeff's early spay-neuter clinic, a school bus, which he bought for $7,500, outfitted for an additional $7,500, brought his services to people in rural areas whose animals needed help. Taking the service to people took away their excuses for not get their animals spayed or neutered, and helped him with his philosophy, think globally, act locally. During the next 2 decades, after the first national conference, Jeff and I were invited to speak about the impact and importance of spay-neuter programs in places like Budapest, Istanbul, Hong Kong, Sydney, Bratislava, and Sofia. The interest was high, vibrant networks were formed, and people saw how effective spay-neuter was. It was preventing animal suffering and overpopulation rather than trying to react to it at great cost and energy. The movement was and continues to be proactive and successful. Over the ensuing years, Jeff became the most important part of the ever-broadening movement to mainstream spay-neuter and to make it popular and affordable. Between 1990 and 2010, animal shelter euthanasia numbers dropped 80%. Here she says from 12 million annually to 3 million. Fast forward 30 years, and the same man I met in 1903 is now the well-known and much-loved Rocky Mountain vet, whose television show was #1 for 8 seasons on Animal Planet Network. This book is the inspiring story of a veterinarian who sees clearly, speaks frankly, works tirelessly, and has touched not only a multitude of human lives, but has saved tens of thousands of animal lives, companion animals and wildlife alike, through spay-neuter, affordable care, and paying it forward, helping animals and people all around the world. And this is what Dr. Jeff does, what he loves, and this is his story.
How does it feel reading that's been written about you? Because I found it moving. So how do you feel about that?
Well, Esther is one of the most important people in my life. And for her to think of me in a positive way, in a very respectful way, is very humbling. Because she's just about one of the smartest persons I've ever met, and she's done more to save animals' lives than any veterinarian I've ever met. So yeah, it was a great privilege to have her do the foreword of this book.
That's amazing, mate. Have you read your book yet?
I've read quite a bit of it. I go through pieces of it, and I say a lot of it, with Tony and Hector and so many people that are on the show, and so many people that are so close to me in my life. It's just fun to read about some of the things they say and some of the things we've done, and then there's a lot of pictures, and believe me, when I had a mullet, there's a picture of me with a mullet in there. I just soon not have that on the internet or anything, but it's in the book. I think it was taken up in Minnesota. I took a bunch of the kids every summer. I usually take the kids on a trip. If they say the kids I was coaching, and we'd go somewhere and run and just have fun, So I think this was up on a lake up in Minnesota, and we always enter races and stuff. So there's a lot of weird old pictures in there.
And the mullet's back, mate. You might have even started that. That photo might have been, the resurrection of the mullet, because it's all the rage at the moment.
Who knows? Was business in the front and party in the back.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I've been lucky because I've met you because of your work in Mexico. You have been about a fair bit, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah. At this point, I've lectured and taught surgery in 36 countries. I've been to vet schools and veterinary hospitals and humane societies all over the world.
That's amazing, mate.
I felt pretty privileged about that.
Are you going to retire at some point?
My retirement is death.
Really?
I mean, this cancer is going to get me, and I hope I can keep working until I absolutely can't. And from the time I can't keep working, and death is really short, because the idea of laying around in a bed does not suit me.
Soddle, yeah. There's still lots of animals and people you need to save. You can't. You haven't got time to rest, mate. You can do that in the future.
We have this new clinic up here, and it's tough raising money right now ever since COVID, and then with the economy the way they are.
Yeah.
But we're adding the humane. We already redid the upstairs. We have a really nice cattery. We got to get it licensed right now, but it's pretty much done. And it's so much nicer, with lots of windows and stuff, and it's really big and spacious. We're adding on. We took over Intermountain Humane Society, but we closed it down, and we're basically adding the Humane Society connected to the veterinary hospital, and so it's all intertwined. And I really think that's the way to go. We've already had vet students from 10 different universities come through for training here.
Wow.
And two of them I just hired recently, from over a year ago. So, and I do think, prices are out of control. They're up over 300% in the veterinary field, but I really do think the kids coming up are deciding they don't really they understand corporate can pay them more, but the job satisfaction is far less. And too many of these people, they have to send these vets, these young students who are very compassionate, they have to send people away because they can't afford $5,000 or $10,000. So either euthanize the animal or send it away, and they know they can fix it, but they're not given the opportunity. And we give them that opportunity.
That's amazing, mate. I hope in 50 years' time, this whole organization is continuing to grow. Where can people support and donate?
Yeah, just go to plannedpethoodinternational.org. That's our nonprofit.
Okay,
we're 100% nonprofit.
I'm going to put that all in the title page of this particular episode as well. Dr. Jeff Young, Rocky Mountain Vet, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out again to come and chat to me about this book. I wish you much luck and success with it. I'm sure everyone is going to be really interested in reading some of the behind the scenes information of what really goes on in your life, to be fair.
Well, thanks, Jaden. I hope to get back down to Mexico and do some more work down there real soon.
Absolutely. Well, we'll stay in touch and have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
Take care, my friend. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
What an amazing individual. So happy that he had the time to come and chat to me on today's book read show. I really hope that not only will you go out and buy that book and go and support the whole philosophy, the whole empire that is Dr. Jeff Rocky Mountain Vet, but you'll also go and maybe possibly, if you've got a few pennies extra, go and donate on Planned Pethood International website as well. If you can't remember that address, then it's going to be in the title page to this show anyway. So go show love, go show support. Please leave comments, please share. Please subscribe to this channel. Go and check Dr. Jeff out on his social media as well. You'll find that all in the title page of this show. Thank you so much. I will see you on episode 26. Take care. See you later.